All right. Well, hello, everybody. I'm so excited that you guys are here. Happy Bingo Day. All right. So, I'm going to talk to you about some of the sales specials. All right. So, I'm going to talk to you about some of the sales specials that we have going on right now or are about to start. All right. That are about to start. So I'm super excited about them because it's all of the good, like grilling stuff and all that stuff that is so popular this time of year, any time of year, all of that good stuff. So let me show you. All right. So pay attention. Don't pay attention to the colors. Just pretend a filter's on my phone, and I have weird colors. But what is going to be on sale is going to be the red, right? So the marinators are going to be in the red and the white, right? I have the green and white here. All right. So this one here, this size right here, this is the junior size, and we have not had this junior size in a minute. Like, I mean, it's been a little bit since we've had this junior size, and I'm super excited about this size. And the reason why I'm excited about this size, it's funny because I didn't have this size for a really long time. I just had the big one because I was like, I got a big family. Why would I need a small size? I got a big family. But let me tell you why the small size comes in handy. The small size comes in handy for those smaller cuts of meat, right? For beef tips or chicken tenders, like tenderloins, that small little tenderloin cut. Vegetables, right? Boneless chicken thighs. If you want to marinate your boneless chicken thighs to be able to use for like a stir fry or anything like that, this is ideal for that. It's the ideal size because if you're trying to marinate those smaller cuts of meat in this big size, you're going to waste so much marinade. You're going to have so much marinade to get the meat covered in this big size, right? So that's where that small size comes in. So if you're like me and you're like, I got a big family, I cook in big batches, I don't need this small size. I'm here to tell you, you just might need both, okay? So the big size is perfect for your chicken breasts, bone-in chicken thighs, steaks, kebabs, big portions of vegetables and things like that you want to marinate. And so here's what makes our season and serve. So we call it the season and serve, okay? But everybody calls their Tupperware how they use it, right? And so everybody calls this the marinator, and we just go along with it, right? So the magic with the marinator is all of these little pyramids, diamonds, whatever you want to call them, that are on both the bottom and the top of this. Okay. So, what happens with that is that it ends up coating everything, right? Coating everything so beautifully because your meat does not stick to that flat surface. So, it lifts your meat up. So, the marinade's constantly going all the way around all of the meat all the time. Okay. So that is one of the things that is so fantastic about this. And so one of the other things that I love so much about this is if I'm marinating meats, most likely I've got more family. I've got family coming. I have lots of food going on, right? So I'm going to probably want to stack stuff on top of this. So that's one of the things too is that I can then stack stuff on top of this because before I had this, I would be using a casserole dish maybe, and I had saran wrap on top because, or if I did have a lid for my casserole dish, right? If I did have a lid for my casserole dish, I couldn't stack anything on top of it because it had like a dome. I would use a casserole dish and things like that. And man, anytime I had to pull back that saran wrap and poke around at that meat, oh, always felt like the whole fridge was like covered in salmonella, E. coli, whatever, right? It just grossed me out. So in comes our marinator to save the day, right? And I can stack things on top of it. I can have, more than one marinator going at a time. And the best part is all you do is throughout the day, flip it. You just flip it. And that's all you need to do, right? So just a couple times throughout the day, you're going to flip it. Now, the other thing that's really nice about this is all those little triangles, those little diamonds, right? The other thing is when you flip this over, all of those are little points that when you flip it over, now all of that marinade is going to drip off of every single one of those points over your food. So not only is the food circulating all the way around because there's no flat surface, but it's also drizzling down on your food every time you flip it. So it is literally the perfect environment to marinate your meats. And I will tell you, okay, it is airtight, liquid tight, but if you peek, it will leak. So don't peek, just trust it's doing its job. But if you feel the urge and you peek in there, what's going to happen is the liquid's going to get in this little track right there, and then it's going to start dribbling down. And you're going to be like, Dad, going at that Tupperware lady at the bingo, she told me it wasn't going to leak, and then it leaks all over my fridge. Listen, my friends, I'm telling you, trust is doing his job and just leave it be. Okay. Now, when you're not using this to marinate your meats, it is fantastic for watermelon. It's fantastic for baked goods and things like that. It is such a great piece to be able to use for all those different things. Also, you can use it for a breading station as well. So if you do bread meats or vegetables or things like that, you can set this up as a breading station. So you can have your wash here, like your egg wash here, and then you can also have your breading here, and then you can just kind of put it here, then put it there, and then you have your little station going, right? Super easy to do that way. The other thing you can use this for is if you have corn on the cob, right? So cook your corn on the cob, and then while it's hot, put it right into the marinator with some pads of butter in there, right? And then close it up while it's hot and flip it a couple times. And now you're gonna have buttered corn on the cob. So then you can take the top off and just put some tongs with it, and everybody can just serve themselves. Okay, so now we have our fix and mix bowl. So this actually is going to be a set for you. It's going to be a sales set for you. So keep your eyes peeled for that, right? It's going to pop up on our websites anytime now. All right, we're all holding our breaths. No. So you can also, so this is going to be a nice set for you. It's a great grilling, like cookout type of a set because you have your marinades, right? But then the fix and mix, this is one of my favorite bowls to use for salads and to do prepping in and things like that. It's nice and shallow. This is your 28 cup bowl. So now remember, the marinator comes in red. The bowl's actually going to come in red too. These are just mine from my kitchen, okay? So I love this bowl for so many different things. One of the things I love this bowl for, it's a 28 cup size bowl. The opening is actually the same size opening as our pie taker, which I'm going to talk about in a second. It's also the same size opening as our That's Bowls, the 32 cup bowl and the 42 cup bowl. And so, but it's just more shallow, right? So it's a little bit more shallow. So it actually has a bigger working surface here on the bottom because of that, right? Which is really nice. And then the other thing that's really nice about this too is it does have that textured interior. So it doesn't show as much of the wear and tear with the airtight, liquid tight seal. It is literally one of the perfect bowls to be able to use for any of your making, taking, mixing, baking, all of the things that you want to do with a bowl in your kitchen. But I will tell you, and I know a lot of people that do a lot of baking, they love this bowl because it's a great bowl to let your dough rise and all that kind of good stuff. But what I really love it for is when I make salads, either a rice salad or a quinoa salad, some sort of a salad that has a cooked element to it, and I need that to cool off quickly. So rice, for example, or even if I'm making fried rice or like cilantro lime rice, when I cook it, I want it to cool off quickly and I want the cooking to stop, right? So we live in Northeast Ohio. So we have our outdoor freezer sometimes of the year, right? Which is the best time to cook, in my opinion, because if I want something to cool off fast, I can put it on my back porch. I don't know how much you guys do that. We totally do that, right? So in the summer, I have to like make room in the freezer to think for things to cool off, right? So, but when I have my rice or something like that, and I need it to stop cooking and I need it to cool off fast, I can spread it out in here in a thin layer, so it'll cool faster for me, because when I'm doing a salad that maybe like quinoa is the base or rice is the base, I want that to cool off. So when I add my fresh ingredients to it, it doesn't accidentally cook them. So if I'm adding fresh herbs to it, I don't want my herbs to get wilty because I'm adding it to that warm ingredient, right? So this is such a classic bowl, and it's a favorite. Maybe put in the chat if you had this bowl or you grew up with this bowl, and what color was it, right? So what color was it? Maybe it was green. Was it yellow? Right? So this is the big yellow or green bowl that everybody talks about. And any Tupperware lady that has been, or a Tupperware person that has been selling Tupperware for any amount of time, and you're out in the community talking about Tupperware, somebody comes up and they say, hey, my grandma or my aunt, she had this big yellow or green bowl. And they can't even describe it without going, the big yellow or green bowl. They always do this, don't they? Right? And then they're like, do you have it? And I'm just like, oh yeah, it's right here. They're like, no, mine was much bigger than that. And I'm just like, well, let me ask you this. How big were you at the time? Right? Because it's all about perspective. So, and I'm like, this is actually the same size. I know it's sort of an optical illusion, but this is actually the same size as your grandma's bowl. So the last things I want to talk to you all about are, this is our pie taker, right? But I have a confession to make. I'm not sure if I've ever put a pie in. because we're just not pie eaters. And I just am not sure. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever put a pie in this, but let me tell you what I use this bad boy for, right? I use it for so many different things. We use it for baked goods, right? And I love it for leftover pizza. Hello, it's round. Why wouldn't you not put pizza in here, right? It's fantastic for pizza. You can do 2 boxes of no bake cheesecake in here. It's great for Rice Krispie treats. It's great for any of those type of icebox cakes. It's great for that, right? So icebox cakes are kind of like almost like a trifle, right? It's like a layered dessert that you can kind of layer in here, and then it just goes into the fridge. You don't bake it or do anything like that. But one of the things I use this the most for, oh yeah, I'd like yeah, cookies, all that kind of good stuff. Let me grab something real quick. One of the things I use this the most for, I'm trying to find a snack cup. I'm trying to find a snack cup that's not all weird. Like my snack cups, I mean, like this is what happens when you've been in Tupperware a while, right? You have a weird collection of things. Nothing really quite matches. So so one of the things I use this for a lot is a veggie tray, a fruit tray. And listen, I know that we have our like serving center and things, but I actually like things that don't have dividers in them, right? So I like things that are open so I can create that division myself, because then I can use this for way more things if it doesn't already have the dividers, right? So I would take a snack cup and put it right here in the center, and then I'm able to create like a fruit tray around there and put my dip in there, or a veggie tray around here and put my dip in here, or even a charcuterie board. So if you're taking that on the go, especially if you're taking it on the go, right? You can make a gorgeous charcuterie board when you're at home, but then when you go to a party, you end up having to put saran wrap on it or travel in the car, and it doesn't look quite as good, right? But listen, also the other thing that makes this really great for your charcuterie boards, especially if you're not that great at making them, is because it has the sides. You can use the sides to your advantage to be able to get some height on your meat and cheeses and things like that when you're making your display. Now, when I use it for, I'm looking for the cup I use. When I use it for the charcuterie board, here we go. So a lot of times I will sometimes throw a snack cup in there so I can put stuff intermingled with my meats and cheeses. A lot of times I use a Tupper Mini. And so I'll put a couple Tupper Minis like here, there. I'll put like 3 in there maybe. And what I do with those is I'll have maybe some nuts in here or some dried fruit or things like that to go on my charcuterie board. So I have the meats and cheeses, maybe sometimes the crackers in there too. It depends. And then I will have these in there to be able to put, like I said, some nuts, some dried fruit, or just other little things that I want to add into the charcuterie board, right? So lots of different things you can use this for besides the pie, right? I mean, of course you can use it for a pie, but you can use it for so many other things besides the pie. So that is our pie taker, and it is in the red and the blue on sale. So make sure to grab some of those for yourself for all the holidays, all that good stuff. So